All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Horrors. I'm Steven, the Horror Freak 85, and I'm here with Tim Hatch, tonight's guest. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Thanks. How you doing?
I was just watching some movies earlier, did a couple Wild Eye reviews. I got some Wild Eye movies in the mail, so today's been a good day. I got four new movies, which brings it up to about 285 Wild Eye titles now.
Wow. Holy smokes. That's a lot. Yeah, I saw you were chipping away at some of them, so that's always fun there.
Yeah, I went ahead and I did a review on Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse. There we go.
I don't even know how to spell it, so.
Well, it's just Aqua and then Apocalypse. So.
Yeah, something like that. Apocalypse or something.
Apocalypse. Whoa, Apocalypse. I'm just saying it like underwater here.
I call everything just part 2. It's like a part 3 because it's just some of these titles and things go on and.
Like you just call all your movies. I'm in part 1. I'm in part 2. That's it.
Yeah.
Check out my movies, part 1 and 2. So what'd you do today? Anything interesting, or while we're waiting for Mr.
No, it's the weather has been interesting here in New York State, where early fall, but this extended summer, Indian summer, humid, just wicked humid every day, and more than it's been all summer. So it's really, really unusual, or for almost end of September. But it's yard sale time too. Yeah,
that's always fun. I used to do that with my grandmother when I was younger. Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hit those yard sales, see what you can find.
Yeah, so you might be able to find some Wild Eye films.
That would be rare. I mean, I found them at the Dollar General or Dollar Store or whatever. They've had a few of them. I was trying to hit Fresh Water. That's one I don't have yet. The one with Zoe Bell.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll track it down eventually. I pretty much missed that round, but I got False Flag, Demon Slayer, and there was another one I can't think of offhand, but. They usually show up at my Walmart too. I work in electronics, so anytime I pop up at Walmart.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes we do run into some of them. I know Mr. Kirkendall always seems to be lucky with finding many of his films in the Walmart. Among other places, but yeah, it's fun to stumble onto something like, hey, look here. Okay, here I am, I guess.
It's like, oh, here's my movie. All right.
Right.
What's funny is I've told this story before. People have heard it, but I was an extra in the movie Never Back Down. I don't know if you saw that, the Fight Club movie in Orlando. It had the guy from Blood Diamond. He was the mixed martial arts teacher. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think I have, but I think I know who you're.
It's actually a good movie. I mean, I would have watched it even if I wasn't in it, but it was funny because you see me at the end of the movie just for maybe 3-4 seconds. I mean, you can tell it's me if you're looking. He walks right by me in the club as I'm talking to this girl.
Is it available on streaming somewhere?
It probably is.
Or YouTube?
It's an older movie, so yes.
Wow. So you were a little boy in the film, right? We were both little boys.
2008. I forget what year it came out.
Like anything 3 years ago, I was still in my mom's womb at this point. So,
but what's funny is I saw it at the movie theater with my dad, and there was one other father and son at the time and everything, and I was saying how I was in it, and he was younger than me anyway. He was probably maybe like 10 or 11 or something at the time, and it was funny when I pointed myself out. He was looking at the screen, he's looking at me back and forth. He's like, oh my gosh, it looks like Chadwick Whitmore is here. Hey, how you doing? So I got the chat open. I think you might be able to also, but you might have to click on it, but I can relay any messages.
Okay, yeah, please.
So but yeah, that's pretty much it. So and I am going to be killed in a movie in December, Naked Cannibal Campers 2, Season of the Bitch. So that'll be fun. Felissa Rose.
Fun. Wow.
Yeah.
Eye and ear out for that one.
So it's Yeah, they got the Indiegogo up. And
Mhm.
if you contribute, you can get the movie when it comes out. I think like May or something probably. And Felissa Rose is going to be in it. Hopefully, I get killed by her. That would be awesome.
Right. Didn't you have a pic with her not too long ago? I think, or something.
Yeah,
I thought you were or
she's
something at a convention or
she's going to
whatnot.
be coming on one of these days, but she's been doing conventions. But she plans on coming on, and here comes Miss Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just about ready for that. I'm so sorry I'm late.
So
it happens.
So yeah, we're just talking, killing some time, having some fun, whatever. You know how it is here. So
I tried to hurry up and run to the store, and we left like 2 hours before, and I forgot there was so much road construction and everything, and we hit like 3 stores, and I got a bad leg, so I'm kind of slow anyway. I was like, we could do this. We have enough time. But
I think I can.
basically, yeah.
Sure. Well,
On the search for catnip and soda.
the essentials, yeah.
Dog ice cream or something or whatever. Or was
Yeah,
that
we had to
yesterday?
get dog cookies too. There's these cookies at the dollar store that my dog absolutely loves. We call them puppy cookies.
Yeah.
I had to give
Yeah,
my
what do they call, or what's the
shoot, what are my husband just walked out. I think they're like almond cookies or something like that.
Wow. I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
I'll grab them real quick. I don't remember.
You all get a treat tonight. Yay! Want a cookie?
Why not? Yeah, the dollar stores and all these places and the dog treats and they're coming full circle. I just got some the other day for mine, and they do all kinds of all these things that I need to have in my life, but now your dog needs ginseng and and vitamin C and all these things. Oh yeah, okay.
My dog absolutely loves these things.
Oh, I thought they were like
We'll give her like at night after
Yeah.
dinner or something. After she's gone to the bathroom, these are her special treats after dinner. But break them up and give them to her. She don't get a lot, more than like maybe a couple a night, if that. But she absolutely loves them.
I was gonna say it looked like human cookies, not dog.
Yeah, they are. We just call them puppy cookies because they're her favorites.
Yeah.
Not like the ones that are dog treats and they're meant to look like that. The cookies, they're meant for
Yeah,
dogs.
we've had those too.
You can like
At
trick people
accident.
and be like, "Hey, you want a cookie?" And it's an actual dog.
Yeah, we've had those too. We had chocolate chip ones, and we ended up mixing them up with other chocolate chip cookies, and we ended up eating some of them.
The fake dog chocolate that they didn't have.
Jeez.
Oh boy.
She's very spoiled, so she gets all her special stuff.
All right. So anyway, I guess we had a little bit of fun here. We can get started, and I guess I'll start out here. What were some of your favorite movies growing up?
Jeez, yeah. This list kind of changes and evolves and comes and goes, and then sometimes now it's like it's a lot of like the movies I've been a part of, and they kind of just like, well, geez, I would say a lot of random things. I think of one movie that was, well, two movies that really hit me at different junctures of my life, but really kind of affected me at, I would say, at different years of my life. The first one, and these are movies that are well known or in the mainstream of film world or whatnot. Obviously, the first one, and I think this will probably be for everybody and anybody, not that I'm all about it or whatnot, but was E.T., the movie E.T., or not E.T. meets Dracula or anything like that, but like the Steven Spielberg masterpiece, E.T. In the young age that I was, that I'm still 5 years from, no matter what. It's like that movie, even still watching it now, it's just an emotional roller coaster. I don't. I mean, everybody thinks of, movies all can be so many different things and different factors, and that movie is even scary in spots. I mean, if you're, I mean, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was a tearjerker. It was scary. It was extra. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of anything or get funny with stuff, but I mean, like in that movie, I mean, obviously it's extra to begin with. It's
extraterrestrial, obviously.
But it had that sense of panic, or, you know, like when E.T. is, you know, taken in by the you know, the higher powers or the FBI or whatever, that, you know, towards the end of the movie there, and you know, it's like, you know, very intense and you know, infringing, you know, on their free, you know, ET's freedoms or whatever, and
right, yeah.
you know, so there was so many factors in that film, and it also, you know, of course, was a big thing for many of the cast and crew of that film. You know, they've all gone on and done tremendous other things, but since that, or before and after that time frame. But
right.
Oh, and so another movie, or I'll try to speed this question up a little bit. The other movie was the movie The Green Mile.
Oh, good one.
And that's a bit ago now too, you know, give or take. That film, it's just, you know, yeah, I mean, I don't sit and watch it every day or anything. I know some people used, you know, like like back in the day, we used to watch movies. Like, I mean, now that YouTube has 9 zillion movies, but back in the day, you used to watch like Indiana Jones like 500 times. Like I don't even know how the tape survived, you know.
Right.
But Green Mile, it just was the first couple times seeing that movie in the theaters too. Just was, I think this, I don't know if it was the first time or the second time, but again, I was like paralyzed for like 20 minutes after that. Like, just, I mean, the movie encompasses so many things, and, you know, besides it being a Stephen King kind of adventure, epic-y, you know, slightly fantasy elements, and it just, you know, the directing is superb. You know, Frank Darabont and Stephen King as writer, or you know, novel per se, and who else? Just Tom Hanks was just killing it at that time, of course, and he's still, you know, very prolific and a major force in all parts of things, and but you know, he was his usual, you know, do what he does thing, and then, you know, and then even like Sam Rockwell and his, you know, dark part that he had in that. And it's just a movie that was, I mean, it's just a simple image of, you know, there's no flying dragons or, you know, wizards and all this stuff in it, but it's just a time, you know, it's a human story, and heart wrenching again. And just, you know, I think it was just the, you know, at the end, it almost even has like, you know, like a little bit of the Notebook kind of stuff at the end, because isn't it like an older gentleman telling this story, and it's got, you know, and it's kind of, you know, he's, you know, sad, and he, you know, it's like Shawshank Redemption kind of has some of that stuff too, and just a human story, and you know, and just timeless dynamics of the world, and the, you know, the ups and downs and complications of the world at times, and but just about humanity and hope, and which is Shawshank as well, and just, yeah, it was just, and Michael Clark Duncan, you know, just a phenomenal movie. What else about that movie? Just trying to think of anything else that was really,
just a good story and
great people.
A human story dealing with human emotions and relationships, and
I was
in there as well.
I guess my point was coming out of it, or towards the end, just not. I don't know if I was not embarrassed, but just I didn't have it just emotionally just paralyzed me. I think I had to I mean, it's a lengthy film too. It's thick and
3 hours. Yeah.
Yep. So I had to get control of my senses, basically. Go back into society and go out and start my car. Yeah. So anyhow, those are some pretty good ones there.
Absolutely. Totally agree on that. Was there anyone who inspired you to act, or was it just something you were into during school?
Well, I grew up kind of in the country, not like middle of nowhere, but just country-esque. And, you got to sometimes, use your imagination, go outside and play in the yard and, fight Batman and the dragons and and dress up as Superman and all these things in your big backyard. And I, again, my era, I know that entertainment and media is a big part of universal society and still is. But when I was, younger-ish, it was that Steven Spielberg, George Lucas time. I know it affects a lot of people. I think it affected some people more than me, but I can't say that I wasn't affected. I mean, a lot of the stuff that people talk about with the old school TV stuff, like Wonder Woman or Buck Rogers or Benny Hill, is something I'm back into lately, just for the heck of it, because he was so goofy and classic.
There's a lot of Benny Hill references lately that I've noticed he's starting to spur back up.
Yeah, and it was just, those are different worlds and different times and different, pieces of culture, and but just, I think we were, like the time, like Jurassic Park first comes out, and it's like, oh my god,
I saw that in the theater 3 times.
Yeah, I think I don't know how old I was, and don't want to say how old I was. I guess
I was a junior in high school.
But
I don't remember my age, but I was a junior in high school. So I don't remember if it was 7th or 8th grade, but I'm old fogey. I don't care.
All right. Well, I'm just teasing on all that, but I want to, I don't want to because I'm that's another thing. Like, as an actor, going through the eras of this acting adventure that I'm still on, I seen somebody the other day, and I'm not going to name the name, but it's somebody you guys probably are familiar with, or obviously an affiliate of mine in more recent times. But this person had somehow was doing like script notes or something, but had their resume, or they were on it was scrap paper, but it was on the back of their resume, and I saw it like on one of our dashboards or something, and I was looking at it, and there's another, like, when we used to do, well, I don't even know what I do anymore, but there was there's a time and a place where it was like, as a performer or an actor or whatnot, you would put age range or something, and you'd put like, if you were like 15, you'd put like 10 to 20 or something, or if you were trying to try out for like a teeny bop show and you were 20, you would say, age range 10 to 20, or just so you could still get in there somehow, or whatever. But yeah, so and that's whatever, but that's an old thing of the, I don't even know what resumes are anymore or that kind of thing, but I guess it's still a thing at times, but that's funny to because that'd be like, I don't, like, what would I put for my age range? I just, because we know that, like, you could, we've seen, I don't even, we see any, youngsters can play old, and old timers can sometimes, they've played these parts where they're like, I don't know, it was like what Nicole Kidman, like, she plays like 10 different decades in like one movie, like she just like, or Virginia Woolf movie, like she was her as a teenager, then a middle-aged and old, and so I don't know, but yeah, whatever. So what's her age range?
Well, they've had like what,
everything 100 years, yeah.
Play
it's
high
almost
school
like Gary
students,
Coleman, the like chameleon of everything. Sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, you're fine. I was just saying, like, they had, what was it, 90210 and Buffy. They were, like, in their 20s, almost 30, playing high school students.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah. But they all them folks are their time, like they all still, like, most of them that are with us still are still like rock stars. It's like they could be like 300 and they look 20. It's like, dude.
I know, like Cassandra Peterson. Her birthday was yesterday, I think, and she just turned like 70. She does not look 70 whatsoever.
I would say like 50, maybe.
Innocence.
Yeah, who knows?
So
who knows
beautiful.
what stuff?
She does not look 70 whatsoever.
Yeah, and whatever that may be too. But yeah, I would agree with that. Yes, there's who knows with those things. It's luck of the draw, I guess.
Right? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I always joke that I'm old fogey. I'm not probably much older than all you guys, but my body's falling apart, so I'm basically the grandma. I just basically joke like this.
All right, so I'll finish. I think the question was what inspired me to be an actor, or what, you know.
Yeah,
I basically just kind of living in the country, really about movies like Back to the Future and all that stuff, and Spielberg stuff, and looking for adventure and excitement. And I had some relatives that are also performers and artists and stuff, and they were a little bit older and they were already on their adventure in the arts. And I was always curious to, and I slowly started to figure it out or get to it. But I think I began really committing to this punishment or disease or whatever from I'm going to say just a hint before early teens. I know a lot of but I probably sang in the choir and in elementary and all that stuff. But when I really was like, oh, what's this movie acting thing, or what is this? No idea, and sometimes I still don't. I mean, I do, but I'm just like, what? What is? But it hurt. It hit early, the acting bug or whatnot, and I just kept kind of snooping around, and I'm still snooping around, and did a lot. I did a lot of stuff in the Capital Region of New York in my teens, and got involved in a lot of independent films in the area, a lot of community theater, just everything, a little bit of modeling, dance class. I mean, just all that stuff that every young, silly dreamer begins to embark upon when you're like, oh, I want to do this crazy acting thing or filmy thing, whatever it is. And then I continued in college and post-college, and still, just keep, picking up pieces along the way. And but some projects that got me really hooked early on in my earlier times was I was and some people don't understand or believe or even know like some of this stuff. I don't want to get that into it again, because I think I was a little toddler when these projects. But I like yourself, Steve. I was a student or an extra student or whatever in a movie called Scent of a Woman, which starred Al Pacino, and I was youngish, and that was probably, I'm going to say probably my first film, maybe second, but definitely at the time in the Capital Region of New York, it was really hot for a lot of projects at the time. We're pretty hot again, due to the expansion of all this new technology and all this wave of stuff. everything is everywhere now, but it was pretty hot then, and it kind of again got me curious or confused or trying to figure out where to go with the whole thing. But at the time, there was like a local casting call, and also some friends of mine from school at the time were talking about it. It might have been in the local paper. And so I think I went, but I didn't get a call. But then somehow my friend said they needed more people, or I don't even know. But eventually I got onto the Scent of a Woman film. And I'm just like yourself, Steve. Well, at the time I wasn't a main actor. It was a student character walking in the backdrop. But it was insane to me at the time. It was good enough. I mean, it still is. The movie sometimes pops up on Prime in recent times, and I can still go back and see and pause it. And there's probably at least a dozen spots where you can see me as a little baby walking as a student. Somehow they let babies into the school, and you can see me in all my glory at certain junctures, and like, oh, there I am as a baby walking with my backpack. And so
here's Walden, or where's Walden? There he is.
The movie is another. So I should have said Scent of a Woman instead of Green Mile or E.T. What the heck was I thinking? But as far as me, besides more of this more recent, like Return to Splatter Farm and all that stuff, previous times, Scent of a Woman was kind of like a thing, or was a thing from my early days, and a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, you were the dude that was in Scent of a Woman, right?" or whatever, like, not that I was like a significant part of that movie, but definitely people, "Oh yeah, I remember you were in Scent of a," and because that movie, as I'm sure you guys are aware, or many of the people watching this, of Al Pacino winning an Oscar for that movie, all the terrific supporting cast that have gone on to outstanding things, and on some have passed, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. That was another thing too. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Then he was probably like the last on the. You're like Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell and all this stuff, and then who's this Philip Seymour Hoffman guy who like won 12 Oscars before he unfortunately left too soon. But there was a point too. Probably, I'm going to say like a decade ago, maybe it was right after Philip passed away, because I know him like he was an old chum of mine. But no, I know people that sort of maybe knew him a little more so. But somebody had interviewed me for a paper, a local bigger newspaper, to ask what my thoughts were on him since I was part of that film. And again, I don't even know how, I don't know how that interview came to be at the time. But it was fun, or it was an honor to have been asked to, what are my thoughts on Philip Seymour Hoffman? Like,
right, yeah.
It's like, he was great to walk behind in the background when I was a baby, but what an outstanding career he had in the little bit of time that he was here. Who knows where he's at now and what he's doing in other parts of the universe and whatnot, because we all go through different things in the worlds, and so he, but we were blessed to see some of his work as far as film in the current recent times. I'll try to see. All right. So that was huge. And they filmed that movie, a lot of, I would say like a quarter of that movie at a school in our area of the Capital Region of New York, a school called Emma Willard. It's still there, very well-known place. Several other films have filmed there, as well as there's been, different notable people there for different rhymes and reasons. And The Emperor's Club was one of the other bigger movies they filmed there with Kevin Kline, and also I think it was Jesse Eisenberg when he was younger-ish, and the young man that was in Speed Racer. Emil Hirsch. That's it. Yes. So he was there too. So yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this area. I'm kind of like where I reside or where I've resided most of my life. Besides, I was in Manhattan for a little bit, but most of my upbringing and recenter times are in the capital region of New York. So we're near like the Berkshires, Lake George, Saratoga. Saratoga's many big movies are filmed in Saratoga, and so it's it's a busy area. And anywho, but yeah, so that was big. I was also in a play in my high school years called Christmas Carol. It's a little story somebody might have heard of. Christmas Carol.
Sounds familiar.
Guy who's very greedy, and then he stops being greedy, I guess, or not. I don't know.
Maybe.
He likes to give a little bit of his spare change away at the end. But in that project, that was also Capital Region. At the time, I played a bunch of different young character parts of the play, and the lead actor at the time was Wilford Brimley. I don't know if you guys are aware of Wilford. I believe he passed recently too, unfortunately. But he had a really outstanding career too. I think he stumbled onto it due to his other interests. But he, it was interesting to be a part of that play. I think that was probably one of my bigger theater things at my young age. And it was, again, another one of those things that for a while was, oh, you were the dude that was in the Wilford Brimley play, and that was it. And then it really, and that was it. And then, doing the acting thing, all through my years, and even still, obviously, to now, it's always been just a ride of experiences and emotions, and just trying to figure it out, and trying to figure out, why I do it sometimes, or all that. And I'm sure many people do that, or other performers, and not only that, but musicians. And it's a ride. It's an up and down. It's the business is like any business, as well as it's emotionally attaching, and it's and then it's not only that, but you really you get into it, and you're passionate about it. So, sometimes it can consume you, and but I try to keep a level head with it, and I always have, and it makes me a little bit different than some of the others out there, but it does, it is what it is. It doesn't, but I've had all these twists and turns, and I, early on when I got involved, I thought, I don't know what I thought. I thought I've been blessed with a lot of it, but I thought it would be, I don't know. I thought maybe it would be more easier or a different thing or whatnot, but I still feel like I have been lucky enough, and it's been lucky enough to kind of keep me coming back for more. I enjoy it more than ever now. It's really weird. It's like there's times where, like I said, like this is, to me, it's a journey now. It's and I try to share that with some other of the recenter affiliates and stuff to kind of keep them. It's the only thing I can offer. I try to keep them in sync with things, because it's confusing for all of us, and at times, and I just try to keep people's spirits up and stuff like that as a team player or a leader to a project or whatnot. Because there's a lot of stuff, and there's still a lot, even no matter what level, it's a lot of twists and turns, and in showbiz, it's you got to have a thick skin and roll with it, and you don't know who your friends are, and
Right.
it's like, and then I'm just somebody that I put one leg on or my pants on. I put two in one leg sometimes by accident. And if I
We've
put
all
the-
done that.
Don't we all?
I trip over myself, and then it's just a mess. And so I just try to have fun with it. I don't think right now, it's been insane. I thought, like I was trying to say, I thought I was done a few times. I thought I was out of the club, and it's been really surreal, some of the stuff. And it's, again, a lot of it has to do with just staying. I love doing it. I love the arts in general. I can't carry a tune, really. I mean, if some Broadway show needed me in it, I guess I would try my damnedest to do my best. And I've been there a few times, and it wasn't pretty. But I love storytelling. I love going to the theater or to a film. It's again an amazing experience to analyze human condition and inspire, and to try to bring better days for most people. And it's amazing, and sometimes it's an honor to be a part of some of it. And that's it. I just try. I've been lucky to have some friends and along the way, and a few other adventures, and I try to just bring my best to any project that I'm offered, and try to be honest with everybody, and that's about it. And
Our friend Chadrick just put, I saw you did a Camp Blood film. I love those films.
Yeah. There's, I think, maybe 2 or 3, maybe. I definitely, let me think. Yes, 2 or 3, maybe 4. I don't know. And I know that you guys all know to some degree, if I wasn't a part of these projects, many of my friends or affiliates have been a part of the franchise. No question. We'll start with definitely Mark Polonia.
Yeah.
He is he's had a piece of that puzzle for a bit. As probably 3 or 4 movies with him as well. Also, another big piece, as we know, is Jeff Kirkendall. He's been in probably the same amount of films due to our consistent involvement with Mr. Polonia. I believe it was Children of Camp Blood.
Yeah.
That's one of my more significant things as far as that goes, and that I believe is still available to watch on Tubi.
Yeah. Children of Camp Blood and Ghosts of Camp Blood.
Yes. In the beginning, I ramble on.
I had them in my notes.
Yeah, I know.
Robo Wars, of course, too.
Yeah. We'll talk about.
For some reason, I wrote BattleBots
We had 2 titles, or like it was listed as 2 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a quick second. We'll just wrap up the Camp Blood stuff real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Camp Blood. I think definitely those 2 films. I might have had a piece in. There was like a montage project that had like samples from the movie, so I might be in that one. And then I may have done a voiceover or something for a future one that hasn't come out yet. But it's been. Mark just sometimes throws you the script, and I do it, and I'm like, oh yeah, when's that coming? So definitely 2, maybe 4 at the most of the Camp Bloods. But the one with the Children of Camp Blood, that one. I obviously play a riff-raff tough guy, and which I often play in Mark Polonia films, and I got to obviously work with Yoli Canales, as always, who's another staple of Mark Polonia films, in that scene, as well as a few other things. And she's a pleasure, a delight, terrific actress, superb work she does for Mark, as well as a few others in that area that they're all in. And that was a treat, and that was fun. And and that movie too, a lot of these movies, they, it's like you've been saying, Stephen, in the last couple of some of your videos, these films, these mostly more of the independent or Wild Eye or Mark Polonia stuff, it's a labor of love, and some people don't understand much of it, or not fair to it. And that's fine. I mean, I understand that, it comes with the territory, but it's fine. I mean, but yeah, it's just, we're having fun, and it's lucky that we have now a place to really start getting the stuff out there and expand and try new things. And, but the Camp Blood movies, they're still, Sterling Entertainment keeps cranking them out, and that's that with that. So, and then RoboWar. So we're maybe going into RoboWar. RoboWar is RoboWar is RoboWar. It's like one of those things where it's like whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That one.
Yeah, I think we talked about that one. We had a Danielle Donahue on a while back. I believe we talked about that movie as well with her.
Yeah. Danielle too. Yeah, whatever. No, she's wonderful. Danielle's wonderful. And a treat to work with. Always been blessed to be able to work with her for many years now, based on, again, my rapport and relationship with Mark Polonia in the more recenter times. Danielle has been a trooper with Mark for quite a bit of time too. She's been in projects of Mark's for a bit now, as well. But in RoboWar, that was an interesting shoot, and I'll get into some more of the mysteries of it. Well, that in a quick second. There was a typical fun Mark Polonia experience. I believe. Let me see what else. We shot that in pieces of Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. It's a very beautiful area. It's very country. It reminds me of my youthier times. It's very, suburban or country-esque. You could dream a lot in those places. It's a epic, sceneries. A lot of, if you like, let's see, like in the one movie, Amityville Island, there's the scene that I'm in where I start to, the bear attacks me. Yeah. You got me. I think you remember a little bit. Yeah. There's like Jamie Morgan's character possesses a bear, a grizzly bear that attacks me. It's very similar to Revenant or Leonardo DiCaprio Revenant or whatever that thing. And so in the backdrop, that scenery there, that, that's what you get out there. And that's also, that location is in many, many Mark films. It's
I asked Danielle if some of them, but she couldn't remember. But yeah, I was like, I noticed, I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen this scenery before, and I thought so.
Yeah, it becomes that, but it's wonderful. It really, it is amazing.
You gotta use it.
It's Ken. I mean, all the Mark Polonia experience is just it's unique. It's that location is actor Ken Van Zant's property. Nice. He also was a production person too, but he's more known as an actor. He's been in many Mark's films and Brett Piper's films and many others in that region, as well as throughout different areas. And Ken is another one, a trooper, a delight, very prolific, been around for a bit. He puts on his pants the same way I do, but yet he's a treat. And he he delivers every time. He's very good at playing the macho parts or the tough guy parts or the cop. You know, obviously you've seen the scene of this film, Return to the Leonard Farm, between Ken and myself in the Wellsboro town court. Anyway, so that backdrop of Ken's property that's been in the Camp Blood movies. It was in It Kills, I think. They used it. I think there's a scene where Jeff Kirkendall and Catherine Sue Young are kind of telling the kids to stay away or something in front of a barn or something. But then the backdrop is still that area. We've used that location for pretty much every other movie that I've been in with Mark over the years. Camp Murder, which is a more recent success of ours. We just did a film earlier this year. I don't want to give out too much, but you know, we know that some of this stuff is out there and stuff like that. I don't want to be the bad guy and put it out there yet or whatnot. But one of the films that I'm excited and proud to be a part of, that which will be coming out very soon, which I believe Wild Eye is distributing as well. We have couple epic scenes that utilize that backdrop, and it's supposed to be like in Europe. And I could see that. I could see now that because sometimes
it's not Noah's Shark, is it? Noah's Shark? Or Shark?
Well, actually, Noah's Shark utilizes Ken's stuff too. Actually, yeah. I mean, it's another one. It's another one with shark in the name.
You don't have much luck with shark,
which is half my resume and half of Mark's.
Like, hopefully, I know you can't tell us, but we'll have to pray you don't get eaten in that one.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, and if I don't get eaten, I end up to survive to possibly be in a sequel at some point. We'll see, but yes, the epic beauty of Pennsylvania. Like I said, it works very well for these movies. I mean, because where I'm at here in New York, it's amazing here too. And the Berkshires nearby, there's so much history and so much beauty and great locations. But Pennsylvania is definitely a treat and kind of like a nice little, like retreat to get away, to see, it's like you're going out, and every time we go to do a Mark film, it's like a mini vacation or a getaway, or, like some people like to go, like, they always say, like, I'm going up to the hills to go hunting or whatever, or get away with the boys, or, a little getaway. And ours is to make movies.
Yeah. I'm in Wisconsin. So yeah, we definitely get
Yeah.
So we have a quick question. Me and Steve kind of basically answered it in the comments, but just in case we missed any.
Okay.
Paul O'Connell was asking if any of your movies are on Shudder on any region. They're in Ireland. I'm pretty sure they're not on Shudder. I'm pretty sure Wild Eye is not on there. We directed them towards Tubi, but
yeah,
I said that we
would. Tubi.
So I'm pretty sure Shudder doesn't carry Wild Eye, but I could be wrong.
I haven't seen any, I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, I'm slightly aware of what you're talking about, but
it's like 3M AMC.
Yeah, I'll have to get more on the ball with some of this stuff. By the time I get on the ball, it'll be a different ball.
Mostly Amazon Prime and Tubi.
Roku channel.
Tons of Wild Eye.
To be exact, I did a video.
Pretty much everything that's not everything, but not like the main like Netflix and Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Anything that's not that.
Wild Eye on Disney Plus.
Mark's got a lot on the horror channel. This other one called there's like a couple of them, Fright Flicks or something.
Oh, okay.
It's like a sci-fi spinoff.
There's also a Wild Eye app that you could put on your Roku as well.
Actually, I think that's down right now for whatever reason. Well, like it has the movies, but they won't load up. And I even messaged Rob about it.
Right.
Yeah. His reviews, I'd asked him. He lives in Canada, and same thing. He couldn't get on it, and I guess something with the developers, because Rob was saying, I guess they haven't updated, or it was like a trial thing anyway. They might upgrade it later, but I haven't heard anything since. And
Well, I'm sure.
there were some good ones on there too. I was
Question.
disappointed, but so
Yeah, I used the app when we did Wild Eye Week last year. I used the app to
Yeah.
get all my movies that I did reviews on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No question. Yeah, I'm sure that's I'm sure that'll all be at some point. And I'm surprised. Yeah, I know Jeff, obviously Mr. Kirkendall, but to me, he's Jeremy. Or I constantly, Jeremy, how could you, Jeremy? Because he's not the old school Jeremy, but he's just still Jeremy to me. He's a pusher of our products, and he has been talking and more about some of the stuff is definitely out there. I mean, a lot of the films have ended up all over the world. So, I mean, I'll have to talk to him some more about some more of these other ways to see the stuff. But yeah, I mean, if right here, if anybody really in other places need to gets to some of our stuff, Mr. Jeff Kirkendall may be of more assistance. And if I have to look up and do some homework and get to the bottom of this, I will if I have to, and we'll make it happen. But they're out there in YouTube. I mean, some of just clips or trailers or stuff. I mean, I know, isn't YouTube more they're out there more than some of the direct channels.
I mean, there's some on there, but then there's some stuff that you can actually like rent or buy on YouTube. Also, they'll have a link to it. So.
Yeah,
I never watched movies on YouTube, so
I haven't.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I watch it like crazy for like little clips and music videos and all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't. Maybe once or twice a feature, but not really. I don't
think I've ever watched a movie on YouTube. I don't know. Yeah, I'll go to the other apps, but
they keep changing. I mean, YouTube's changed a lot. I mean, I can't keep. I mean, it's like I thought YouTube, like, yeah. I mean, there's so many spinoffs of YouTube and different. I thought they had like different levels and different things of what they do, but it's a great resource and it's. It's been good for a lot of aspiring artists and musicians and writers getting some of their, I used to see I don't even like everything keeps changing. Like it's just like, but I remember not too long ago, a buddy of mine was doing, I think he was doing trailers for books, like with YouTube somehow, or Google, I don't like doing like almost like a mock little trailer of if the book was a movie or, and he was getting paid a little bit to do that. And so there's a lot of little twists and turns to these internets out there now. And
you never know what you're going
to change the game a bit, but it's been fun.
Nice.
Robo War. Hold on real quick. Let me finish off the Robo War before, because
go ahead.
Robo War. So I'll do the title thing and then I'll get into it for a quick second. Then we'll definitely move on. I'm sorry that because
Robo War. We're absolutely fine.
Yeah, Robo War. I don't know some of this stuff. I don't know if I get in trouble for some of these, but they originally was supposed to be called BattleBots, and then it became Robo War BattleBots or something, like an extension of it, or it's changed a few times.
Yeah.
But the thing of it all is, I don't want to get too far into rhymes or reasons or whatever, but it was, I think at one point it was BattleBots, then it became something else, then it was Robo, and that's happened with some of the movies, like even Shark Encounters of the Third Kind, real quick, was originally Aliens versus Sharks, or AVS, or something. Like these titles sometimes change before they get, even Hollywood obviously does all that a lot too. But whatever the trend is at the time, or once the movie eventually gets to, like a year later, then it's like, what's hot right now? What can we kind of tie it in a little bit, or what's the new, because it used to be like, yeah, like they changed the rhythm of all this stuff. So, all right, so so it was BattleBots and RoboWar, and then RoboWar BattleBots or whatever. I don't know, but it's known as, and there's different posters with both names and stuff like that. But it is a fun movie, and I enjoyed it a ton doing it. It was a crew of people at the time, which is still involved in different capacities, of people that were mainstays of Mark's at the time, and some old and new people. And the movie is fun. It's available to watch, no problem. And it's kind of, I always had a soft spot for it, just because it was like it's just a quirky little film. And it's hanging in there. I'm surprised. Like, there's been it's still hanging out. It's out there, and I would have never. Some of these things, I'm like, what? Like, wait, it surprises me, and I know that. I know how life is weird like that. So, but it's cute. It's a charming little popcorn movie. It's no biggie, and it's like all the movies of these types. And it's no different or no better or no worse. And the same with the production value and what we put into it and all that, and the usual ingredients of a Mark Polonia experience was pretty much present. And it was a good time. And I think one of my highlights was, I was definitely working with Jeff Kirkendall, as I go way back with, and him playing the villain of the film. And we had a lot of fun with, goofing on that, because he plays like Caesar character. And we were at times kind of doing like, how like, and I know this is old by now, but the whole Khan or whatever, but we were doing Caesar or whatever, from Star Trek and all that. And we always make fun of these movies because I make fun of everything all the time, but when we do these movies, it's just nonstop, just goofing around. We take what we do, obviously, as you can tell, very seriously, because we want a good product for what it's worth. But at the same time, it's just, I have fun with it, because the most of the people, everybody pretty much, but most of the, we respect each other, and we know it's like well, I think you guys may have mentioned it in recenter times. It is like a theater troupe. Some of the crew of Mr. Polonia's in recent times. There's a indie film family going on there for now. A cult. It dawned on me one day it was a cult now. No, I'm kidding. But it was like
Polonia cult, yes.
I'm like, wait. I'm like,
part of the little robes and stuff he has.
And I've had that in a few movies too. So
those weren't just flops. Those are everyday wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had those in several of Mark's movies. Yeah, like in I'm trying to think, but yeah, some of those they show up as props.
The Apes, I recognized him. I forget that's the only one that's like coming to mind right now. But yeah, I know there's other ones, but I just can't think of their titles.
Yeah, he's got a lot of props, and he's got a makeup effects studio, and he's got it down. You guys know this. So Mark is he's a veteran, but I don't like the name because it makes you sound old. But he's a veteran and an icon of the underground film scene, and everybody knows that. I've been lucky, and it's been an honor, as well as obviously with Jeff Kirkendall, both of us. And we have a few other affiliates I'll mention in a minute or two, but definitely Jeff, myself, because we grew up. It's like Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, sort of.
Right.
I guess. I don't know if you minus a few zillion other things, but Jeff and I are very similar in that vein, and it's been an absolute blessing to have run into Mark Polonia, and we all know that. And but things happen. It's Hollywood, and things could twist and turn, and who knows? But Mark is a a trooper, a hard one. I mean, I know a few other people not in the film world that are hard workers, but in the film, Mark is he does not sleep. He's a machine. I should get him a shirt that says the machine or something. Like some people joke about that, but Mark, there is no. I mean, I love film and theater and arts, and I already said it 12 times already. And I love being a part of the projects and any project. If depend. But Mark he just what is it when I think I used to tell somebody else, like, you have to like eat and sleep and breathe whatever it is that you do, and Mark does it, no question. I mean, he is one, yeah, he is. I mean, and then there's many others out there too, but Mark is definitely a very gifted person. As far as, I mean, I joke with Mark all the time, and I don't want to continue to get any more funny or say any other weird things because it's public stuff. But Mark in general is definitely for the most. I mean, again, we all have we're all humans and we have our moments and get
Right.
different things. But I think he means well as a person, and he loves making movies. I mean, he obviously loves his family and all that other stuff first, but his passion and his gift is no question fantasy filmmaking, indie filmmaking. I mean, and we've been joking for years, and he continues to amaze and astonish. He's just ridiculous. Like Jeff and I, we do the films, and sometimes Mark, like, no joke or whatever, definitely like we'll start shooting on like a Friday, and then we do the project, and then I'm like, I guarantee you, like, by the time we get home, if it's, let's say we flew, it was an hour, let's say we drove, it was 10 hours, who knows, he'll be IMing us a rough cut of the film or something because he just doesn't stop. And I've been a part of it where I'm like, and I, again, like I said, I am to the wall with when I'm involved in anything, whatever it is, and I'm passionate about. I do have to take a break to eat and breathe a little bit, but I, like anybody, but I immerse myself tremendously in any capacity, in any way that I can, and to make whatever I'm working on the best that it can be for whatever it is. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, just if I'm making an omelet, even if I'm not good at it, I'll give if it really matters, I'm giving it what I can. So anyway, so the Rogue War, and then it was again working with Jeff as a villain, James Corollas, who's a buddy of ours, who's been in many projects for many years too. He did a bunch of odds and ends in that film too, and then we also had Marie De Lorenzo, who's kind of goes back a little bit with Jeff and I because she's from our area, and she did a great job in that, among many other Mark films and other films. And then also Danielle too was a significant piece of that film, and was you got to see her Danielle do what Danielle does, and and so it was a pleasure to be around that, as always. And so where are we at?
I was starting to ask, how did you get introduced into the Wild Eye realm?
Okay. Well, let's see. I mean, I started again. We'll go down the independent film independent film world timeline for Tim Hatch. I started making movies as a filmmaker. I I've always wanted to be an actor. Like everybody wants to be a movie star and woo, look at me, all that stuff. And I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't just be like, what is that, dude? Like what? Yeah. So anyway, but that was and then I was like, my mom got me a video, like everybody, a video camera or a Super 8 camera or whatever when you're young. And when I was just dabbling or starting to figure out these things, I was like, all right, let me make my own movies too. Or all right, just shoot just goofy little skits and sports, playing basketball with my buddies and music video, makeup videos, and just whatever goofy stuff, a precursor to the YouTube stuff, but without it being for the world to see. You just do it in your backyard and you watch it on the TV with the videotapes and whatnot. And then I start, then editing, with the, you always hear these stories of like Rodriguez, and he made the $7,000 thing and edited and all this stuff. And now he's like, an amazing icon of film and all that. Or Kevin Smith, all that indie stories, Quentin Tarantino, all that. So and there were a lot of other sort of local indie people at the time that I was involved with that were doing stuff similar. And I was like, oh, well, I just dabbled a lot. And then eventually I started getting into some of these movies with some of the local people. And then at some point along the way, Jeff Kirkendall and I, we were on projects, but on different days. We hadn't met yet or something like that. It was way back. And we were like in a lot of movies and or independent movie or whatever, media stuff at like the same time, but we still hadn't become affiliates or buddies or whatnot or comrades yet. And so because of our area, you run into people when you go, you even hear like the big timers. Oh, I ran into the same guy over and over, at the auditions. And so it was that thing. And then there was a point where, and I think I've heard this with other people. It was actually, I think, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon too, saying the same sort of stuff. And Tommy Wiseau, pick anybody that's an artist that wants to be in the film world, and to each their own on any of that and whatnot. It's all incredible, whatever they do, and we all do. And but I was, and I still am, and I still have my moments of ups and downs and twists and turns with all this stuff. And I didn't think I was getting the parts I wanted, or I was doing a lot of theater, but there wasn't a lot of movie stuff, and I was, I had my fair, like I said, I've been lucky and I've had a fair share, and sometimes things given there, I'm like, I'm done. And then like all of a sudden I'm getting a lead and something. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, I don't even act anymore. What? So I'm just kidding. But like, so I started, I was kind of slightly frustrated because I thought because I would, I guess I was being selfish or whatnot or whatever, but whatever, but everybody wants to be the best they can be in life. Right. I mean, so I was like, I thought, and I hear it all the time, like, oh, I could have got that part, or I could have been better as that part or whatever. So I started taking the filmmaking thing a little more serious, and I started doing some short films with buddies from high school and some local actors from the community theater and whatnot and whatever. And then it kept getting better equipment and now we can just I don't even fly to the moon and back in 2 seconds, like Star Trek. And so but I got better equipment and just kept trying things. And so anyway, so Jeff and I would hit and miss each other on projects. And then eventually, we were involved with some filmmakers in our area a while back. We still are. A guy named Joe Bagnardi, who is the director and producer of a movie called Project D that is also online, and a few others of his films. Another director around that time, he's also like a horror-esque. I don't know if he's an icon. He's definitely a big name in some of the horror stuff, an actor friend, filmmaker friend, affiliate of both Jeff and I, Mr. Bruce Hollenbeck. I don't know if you guys are aware of him or whatnot, but he's a veteran. He's been around for a bit. He's done everything. He's a well-known horror writer right now. But anyway, so we had been actors in a lot of these projects of theirs. And then I was slowly starting to make my own films. I have some films that go back. Starting to get into the college films and theater stuff. And then Jeff and I think I needed him. He answered, like I put out a casting call or something, and he answered it, interested as an actor, but also as a filmmaker too. And we were both curious. We were dabbling. We were trying things. He was going to this college of St. Rose for media at the time, and I had just started at went to Schenectady Community College and SUNY Albany for media, as well as other liberal arts stuff and stuff like that. And so he had answered. He called. We got involved. He helped me with my film. Then I helped him out with his films. And then we started getting some more projects out there. And we had some film festivals all around. We had some stuff on some different sites. And we were kind of getting around. And it was, we were plugging along. We had our moments. And then, and some different odds and end things. And then we're still doing... So a lot of our, like some of these indie movies, I'm trying to think, like we did a movie with Joe Bignardi, and Bruce Hollenbeck was one of the main actors in the film, playing like a vampire villain kind of character. And that movie, Shadow Tracker, I believe is, I'm trying to think who's distributing it right now, but it is a popular independent movie. It was kind of big, like back in there's different time frames, and I would say it was probably around the time of like Clerks and stuff like that. But there was also the underground, like underground stuff where you go to like the Chiller convention and there'd be tables. And I think Joe was selling Shadow Tracker there, and we were in it and whatnot. And I believe the company, it might have been I think it's called Sub Rosa or something like that. But it did a lot. It changed names too. I think it was EI Cinema or something, and they did different. They had different spin-offs, and there was like another company. Like I don't want to get into too much because it's been a while, and I've only done a movie or two with some of this stuff, but there was like, there was like an underground scene, and it was like a different than what it is now and stuff. But I'm trying to think. There was a company that did. They were like. I know Bruce might have wrote for them a couple times. It was like they did like Spider Babe and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys know some of this old school. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Misty Monday.
Yep.
He was involved with them. And so Shadow Tracker was, they would distribute these films, but under different branches and stuff like that. And so we were part of that early, VHS, shooting on high 8, just really gritty guerrilla filmmaking. It's just, now it's like a whole other world of things. But we still had the passion and the interest and the drive and thinking we were, on our way and all this stuff. And Shadow Tracker is a great film on its own, and same with some of Bruce's films, and Project D is now released under some of these more modern techniques but so with the Wild Eye, eventually getting to Wild Eye, Jeff works for the State Museum in the Capital Region, and he's been there for a while, and they have arts events and festivals and different things too. And he's had like something with Betsy Palmer from Friday the 13th. I think he mentioned that on his thing.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Yeah, and Joe Bignardi was there, and Bruce, and all those peoples, and I think James too, and so so we do a bunch of. I mean, we like Jeff is, he's a filmmaker, an actor, an arts organizer, a promoter, tap dancer, likes to eat cheeseburgers. Like no, like there's all these asterisks to everything, but he had a film festival. I'm going to say it was probably about 7 years ago. In Capital Region of New York, and it was I think originally it's supposed to be, a lot of the films were Brett Piper films, or in the vein of Brett Piper's stuff, and because they were I don't know if Bruce initiated it or whatnot, and then I had gone to that festival as well. A lot of our, I think we showed a couple of our projects, and Joe, and like it was like a mini film festival. But Mark came to the event with his son Anthony at the time, and yeah, it's a little, it's weird to see Anthony different now. He's got big, all grown up. So anyway, so Anthony, I don't know if they might, like, Mark and Brett have co-produced some films over the years. So I don't know if it was specifically a Mark film that was shown or two or whatnot, but I know it was definitely, one of them was definitely a Brett film that Mark produced or something for Brett or something like that. But everybody was on board. Everybody was there at this film festival, and we were all, shooting the breeze and all that stuff, and taking it in, and we all hit it off, and then that was that. And then we kept in touch, and then Mark started, asking some of us if we would be interested in being a part of his stuff, and then that progressed, and then eventually I came on board with Shark Encounters of the Third Kind, which is about 25 plus movies ago, in a short amount of time. Like, it's like 2 years and like 300 movies in 2 years, but yet like I don't even know what time it is. No, just kidding. But yeah, so Shark Encounters, I think, was my first pop. Well, it's come out at a midpoint of things, but it was my first go around with Mark and Wild Eye. I think we filmed it back in either 16 or 17 or somewhere in there, but it's come out like a year or so ago. And it was it changed its name a couple times too, but eventually became Shark Encounters. And that movie is it's fun. It's a fun movie too, in the vein of all that stuff. And
that title, but even like you said, the other title, it would have been like Aliens versus Sharks. So either title would have pulled me in. But if you can't tell, I'm kind of obsessed with sharks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's. Wait a minute. Now I see what's going on here. That's our shark from the movie. Wait. You must know.
Does it really look like that from the movie?
Pretty close to it. Yeah, I mean, it's literally the shark we use in the movies. I mean, it's
a mask that goes over your head.
Pretty much. I think I've worn it a few times. I couldn't breathe. In Shark Encounters, which, like, all of us, it's like, what's going on is this thing with Mark is very Ed Wood. I mean, there was a time when Jeff, my good buddy Jeff, Kirkendall.
Hey man, yeah, JK.
Yeah, he was known as an Ed Wood at one point too. But Mark, he's not trying to emulate Ed Wood or Roger. We know this, but it's in the vein, like the approach. It's the same kind of fun, because we've all seen an Ed Wood movie or something of that nature, and we know that's like the the staple or the old schooly of this, but even Chaplin and all those people were independent filmmakers too. I mean,
Yeah.
before, became known as whatever they became, but Ed Wood, just his, okay, there's an alien in the sky and you're, like just completely and we're just going to do it. And then, action, but Mark is very, he is a scientist and he really has it down, but it's still very, behind the scenes you would have never thought. I mean, you just be like, what? Like, wait, that's the dragon. Like, it's just like Anthony, who's a wizard with things too. He comes up with some great little thing, and then you watch the movie and it's like, oh my God, like what is, like, some crazy thing, and they just always keep us on our toes. But I'm just mean, like, the spirit of the process, and
Right.
and our posse or camaraderie or whatnot, our unit is very, I mean, like, definitely that kind of, but we just have more toys and more tools and more stuff. But I mean, in Shark Encounters, and we've all the actors, they take part in these kinds of things. We, I'll play, like I played the Bennett character or whatnot, which was fun and humorous, and it was a pleasure, and just a good old time. And but then there's a scene where Jenny Russo, who's very popular with Wild Eye and the underground film scene, and she's from Syracuse, which is a little more central New York. But she's very popular, she's headlined a lot of Wild Eye stuff. And she would, there's a scene, she's coming, might have been like the first scene we even shot for that film, but she's, coming onto the dock to meet up with Titus's character. And I didn't even do my Bennett stuff yet or whatever, but like Mark's like, okay, throw on the alien suit, dude. How's that? Can you breathe? Well, it's all good. You're good. You'll live. And then it's all good, dude. I've done so many things in my life for movies and things, but like we in Jeff can attest, and James Corollas and all of us, we juggle 9 zillion things on these sets. I mean, it's 1 minute I'm in a gorilla costume getting like thrown by Danielle against the wall, and then like, okay, we're done with this scene. We got to drive 2 minutes down the road, and then Tim, can you grab the lights? And then okay, and then meanwhile, like, can you put the makeup on Marie while we're, and then like and then somebody else is like, how's my hair look? Or, and it's so like you're like a psychiatrist and a team spiriter and oh, do you think my mom's gonna like me in this movie, or do you think my girlfriend will dump me over this? And I'm like, no, dude, you're good, bro. Believe me, you got this. You got, like, and I know many independent film people know this kind of routine, or this, you pull off the side of a road and this looks good. Okay, there's no cops. Okay, turn on the mic. Okay, real quick. All right, hold them. All right, how's the lighting? Is the mic in the shot? I mean, like, and then you roll, and that's guerrilla filmmaking from day one. But we've got it. I mean, this crew that Mark has recently, it's like a no. It's like just you do it with your eyes closed at this point. Some of the stuff. And that's that's great to have that kind of stuff, or that luxury, to eventually get people on the same page, or you can trust and believe in each other, or play, or know people's ins and outs enough that, you you can count on. And so.
I'm glad you brought up that you've made films, because when I was going through your IMDb, I was trying to go through everything, and I noticed acting and producing and editing, but I didn't see directing. So one of my questions was asked if you was ever planning on directing anything, but apparently you already have.
Yeah, give or take. That's another thing too. I mean, when I was looking at some of the rundown for the show, that's a good question or whatnot, among many others. The directing thing, yeah. Even in the big boy world of the directings, and you always hear like George Lucas, like he stopped directing for forever because it's I have directed stuff, probably more film stuff than theater stuff, but I've done a. It's not only that, but it's like even with my stuff too, and it's like I like. Let me take a break for a second. Like, remember, I know you guys know because this is part of it all too, and more recenter times and funny times. And I try to throw some of these things into the mix of all this stuff. But I know you all know about like the Tommy Wiseau thing and all that, and the filmmaker Tommy Wiseau and the Room movie and all his mystery and all that good stuff, and then it going on to have a legacy with other projects and books and movies and James Franco and all this stuff. And with that too, when I saw all that at different points, and this is more recenter time, the last few years or so, I've caught on because it's out there, it's like everything else. And so I said to Jeff or many others of close to me, I had said that, watching, you hear all these Hollywood stories, and even James Franco brings it up when he talks about the movie too, of the Tommy Wiseau legacy and all that. It's the same thing. It's about having a dream or something that you aspire to that you may not, it's like we all get, we may come from different worlds or different backgrounds or different parts of the universe, and you see something and you see like a Michael Jordan playing basketball, and when you're a young kid and you're like, I want to be like him, I want to be like Mike, or whatever. And everybody's like, oh, you'll never make a kid or all that stuff. And that's timeless as any story from, you watch Aladdin and they probably said it to the little kid. I mean, I don't even know. There's old folk tales, and just the world is always full of haters per se, and no, but everybody has like something that they're like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, but yet, you can only do, and so with the acting or with the Tommy Wiseau thing and all that too, as an example, I guess, it's the same thing. When I started too, it was kind of that thing too, like just in different kinds of ways or different worlds, I guess. But it was the same thing of like, he was frustrated. He was, people saying you can't do it, or you're no good, or you're different, or, you're going to play monsters all the time, even though he's like, no, I'm going to be the lead. I know I can do it. And so whatever he did, he made it happen. And he's still very driven and confident, that man. And I haven't met him, of course, but bless him. And he's inspiring, and it's funny. I like he's very rock starry, and he knows that, or I don't know if that's his whatever, but he's got a charisma in his own way, and that's entertainment, that's theater. I mean, that's this circus world, and to each their own, and it's great to see that he stuck to his, and he brought some friends along or had other, but it's the same thing, like Jeff and I too, like probably more so me or whatever, but like there, like Jeff and I were still kind of feeling things out, and we're still kind of feeling things out. Where some days we're like, what's going on here, and we still can't figure it out sometimes, but we just kept sticking to it, as far as directing or whatever, like filmmaking. Like, I've changed my course of so many things, and I've know others that are kind of like with this, like some days I'm a writer, especially when you're younger, like when you go to college and all this stuff, and they always ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up, or what are you going to be, or what's your specialty, or what's your niche, and then some of these people are like, I don't even know what, and and some people that are like big time, they're like, I don't know, I just did what I did and it happened, it's just, and so with this stuff, like I have directed, as far as like aspiring to really be like Mark as a director, or a bigger or a more Hollywoody director, I'm not going to say no. I don't. I right now, I think my gist right now is just having fun. First off, enjoying the process, being a part of a group of people, enjoying what we do. I think that's been the best part of working with the Mark films. I still, well, back to what I was saying, is like there were times along my journey that I was like, I'm going to be a writer now, or there was a time where I'm only going to be a playwright for a little while. And a lot of people know, like, they've all been through these things, like, and then you have people that are like prolific, major people in the world that are like, like, let's just pick anybody, like Shaquille O'Neal. Let's just say Shaquille. I don't know. He's one time he was a rapper and an actor and a basketball player and
he's on commercials
guy, and like, and then his songs even talked about him doing 20 different things. So you can be like The Rock too. Like, he's an entrepreneur now. I mean, it's just, you just do it. You just whatever comes, you try to do the best that you can. You make the best choices if you can. Sometimes it's just hard, no matter what. Life is tricky sometimes for all of us in different ways. But as far as eventually directing, or who knows? I mean, it's possible. I'm not going to say, but I haven't been offered anything just yet to do that route. I admire Mark, and along the way, Jeff too has been a part of even directing some of these things, and it doesn't even dawn. I mean, some of this stuff, it's like it's so, because I go way back with Jeff in a way with independent filmmaking, and the trials and tribulations that we've had as buddies or co-partners or producers or whatnot in the indie film scene. It's second nature at this point. Some of it. I'm sure it'll get harder. I'm sure there'll be new challenges. I'm sure there'll be different things. I keep saying right now, I don't even know what's next. I know that I love making movies. I love being a part of it. I love working with good people, or people that have the same understanding, I guess, because it's hard, because everybody, some people personalities clash, and you work good with one person, you do another one, and somehow it doesn't work. But Mark he gives people chances, and he understands conditions, and he's taken a lot of risk, and I think Mark has done that himself as a film producer, because you're directing the people, there's producer, you're putting as we know, the pieces together. So he's always had a thing for unique people. I mean, theater, again, Tommy was, unique people, different people that are extra and have different ins and outs, and theater, we all know them there, but Mark has I don't know, he takes unique people and gives them opportunities, and I'm no different or no stranger to it, but I've been surprised and with some of it, and or how well it's worked, or giving people of all backgrounds and different things an opportunity to do what they want to do, or have dreams too. And we've had a lot of people from all spectrums, and we just did a project not too long ago. Again, I'm not going to get into too many details. We had performer Rebecca Reinhardt join us for this project, and it was I may have bumped into her at a convention or something or whatever, but it was the first time that I've done a project with her per se. Super professional, really good, did a really good, wonderful job with the project. But it's unique now, because I started thinking we were going to start going down the shirt, like Rebecca, we're having a lot of people that are coming from all parts of the game now. I mean, Mark's been on the page since way back, but we're starting to, we're it's like bringing in like a new, like we have our home team or home group, and then we bring in a special guest or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebecca definitely came on board. Definitely did her work. Was a treat as well, as often Mark's people are. And I'm sure more projects are going to start to be like that, like expanding our community is what I'm saying. Because I know Rebecca does a lot of stuff out west, and she's a lot of stuff in Texas, and she's from like Midwest, and and she came in and she knocked it out of the park, and we were all pleased, and then, but it was like I said, we still had the same. Everybody was like clockworking, and it was like business as usual, and just some familiar faces, and we've had some people that have come. We've had some different twists and turns, and we've had some old familiar faces come back into some newer, starting to spread their wings. Like it's been interesting. Like we've had, like Jeff and I had another person from our area that we did some projects with way back, and he's been brought into some of the more recent Mark stuff, and he's starting to blossom. It's really it's been really unique to see it. It's just I say it to them all the time. I would have never thought any of this stuff. I would never predicted all this. And these are people that have been through the trenches, that they've been in the scene a while, and it's like watching like. Anybody that like I'm not trying to make fun, but it was like there was a time when there was some of these sports movies where there was like a Mark Wahlberg movie where he was like he tried out and he failed, but then he was like 10 years later he gets called up somehow and he gets on the team and then he hits the home. I mean, it's that kind of thing, and it's just it's really amazing to see when somebody's got something, they just have it. I mean, it's all there is to it, and it's been nice to see that with, the world continuing to change and grow and evolve and all this stuff, to see people getting some chances, getting their because there was I don't want to get into all the politics of the world, but it's just, it's nice to see that there's opportunities and for anybody. And it's always hard. Life is hard. We all know this, and you have to really, really kind of keep hanging in there. And, it's been nice to just, what I'm saying is to see other types of people finally having their dreams come true, or having chances to try a big part, or they're usually a small part. Now they're a big part. And it's like, wow, you really did it, man. You really, or whoever, you sold it. I mean, it's inspiring to me. We're doing a voice or a commentary for one of the recent movies. And I had said to Mark, maybe a couple times, but during the commentary session, because we're like, we're basically riff tracking or whatever the film, and kind of saying we're goofing, but then other times serious about stuff. And I just said that on this one of the recenter films of Mark's, I had my hands full. It was a big part for me, and that happens sometimes. And it's not just I engulf myself with the roles, whether it's a supporting or a major part, but I also, again, I'm watching the lighting. I'm like a co-producer on these films, whether I'm getting the title or not. Most of the time, I'm technically a co-producer or co-executive producer, or no matter what, especially if I'm way up on the list. But some of Mark's stable of people are inspiring. I mean, Yoli Canales, just amazing character actress. She's, I mean, I don't know every project she's been a part of, but she is very well known in the theater scene in Pennsylvania. She is definitely a character. I mean, she just gets all these parts, different ranges, nails it every time. A delight, just professional, just great person, a trooper. She's, I mean, and she's just fun to be around. And a lot of Mark's people are like that. I mean, you know, like I said, not everybody gets along with everybody, or there's little moments, you know, like anything, like, you know, but she's terrific. Again, majority of Mark's people are terrific. Titus and his wife. Also, those are the people that in this more recent project, like they came on board probably midstream of the project, and I was kind of, you know, we've had a couple days in, and I'm, you know, you're getting onto that third or fourth or whatever day, and you're kind of like digging in a little bit, and she, Natalie Himmelberger and Titus, they're often playing, if they're not leading their own movies, they're terrific theater character actor people too, and they just show up and just, you know, I'm not like, you know, I'm not besties with Titus or anything, but like he's a cool dude. He's a good actor. You know, I mean, again, to each their own. I mean, some people are like, oh, he's good or he's not good, whatever. I think he's a good actor. I'm sure others do too. I mean, I just don't want to quote everything as everybody's good and everybody's great.
Right, yeah.
Because everybody thinks different things, but he is a delightful person again. And him and Natalie show up on the set, and they were there a long time, and because sometimes they just come to hang out. I mean, they're in that area, and there's another group, Ryan Dalton, and his partner, Samantha Coolidge, I believe. They are also a duo of sorts, and many Mark Polonia films and other films and projects, but those two partner ups is what I call them. They show up. If they ain't, again, either running their own show, they are go-to supportings, and they show up, and they just kill it, man. I just Titus and Natalie. I'm trying to like, if you watch, there's a movie called War Raiders that Mark has done, and it's I don't know. It's been out a couple of years now, probably. And I think Natalie is in it in the beginning, and she's kind of like a story, like she kind of like bookends the film or something. And it's like Saving Private Ryan or something like that. But like, she's like the one that's like telling the story, but she just has a look to her. And she's very versatile in her just energy for days, and she just immerses herself in these things, and her and Titus, just, you can't murder this. Some of these other ones coming out, they just love making movies, and they love theater, and they love making believe, and it gave me like my second wind or third wind or whatever at that point. I was just like, because I was like, you know, I was grinding out, and they were grinding, and I'm like, dude, and you know, you get only so much coffee and so much, you know, whatever. And believe me, I'm ready to roll all the time. But these guys, to see, it actually, I don't know if it did it then or during the comment or whatever, but it kind of teared me up a little bit. And I know it's corny and cheesy, and lately I keep hearing that a lot. Lately, they always teared up over something. I don't even know, but I don't think I wasn't trying to be like selfish about it, but I just felt, you know, because because I've been a team player too on many of Mark's movies and many other projects. I to me it doesn't matter what it is. I'm at least 110%, especially when it comes to filmmaking or film or whatever. I will go whatever you tell me to join. Like I will do what I got to do and make it happen. I just love being a part of the stuff. But these guys, it was just, they don't come in and they don't overboard everything, and they weren't like, oh hey Tim, like like how you doing, like they just doing their business. But it was just the fun energy of Mark's movies. You'll see it. I mean, you'll see. And
Yeah, I'll
you can see
be
it.
honest, he actually won me over. I didn't really care for his movies at start, and then I've been watching him more and more. After research,
There's a charm.
Interview, and he's won me over. I'm actually really enjoying the movies a lot more when I first got introduced to him. Back there, so he's actually won me over. You could kind of feel, the
spirit.
Spirit behind it, or I almost said love behind it, but that could be that too. But he honestly.
But I mean, like when you watch the trailer for Shark Encounters, and like at the tail, and this is where like I said Mark and Jeff as well as John Oak Dalton, their narrative and stuff. Like in the Shark Encounters movies, which is Titus says at the end of the trailer, and because you just reviewed it, Stephen, with the what's the line he say? I might mess it up, but it was come for the something and stay for something like Titus, like
come for the sharks or stay for the crazy, come for the crazy, stay for sharks, or I might be reversing it.
It was funny, it was catchy, and it was funny, and it was charming, and Titus just delivers it all the time with that stuff. I mean, it's no big. I mean, it's whatever. But again, and like I said, these guys, they come, like they get, like Danielle too. Danielle, she shows up. She is in a zone. These people are in a zone, and they're a pleasure to work with. I've never, the Mark stuff, sometimes I have to pinch myself. And again, everybody has their posses and different groups and ways movies are made and whatnot. But it's just, I'm used to, there was a time when I was just like, some of the movies, it was it was tough, or it wasn't always on the same page. And to see this now, it's just fun. And it's just, people show up, they bring they come to have a good time. It's almost like I said, it's like a sort of like a cult, but not really, but it's like a posse. Like they want, they're addicted to it. And we, like I said, we bring stuff. It's like a potluck. You bring, it's like a community, and it's there's like, when I did that one that I'm talking about a couple of projects ago, it was just this crew that Mark has had for a bit, and the respect that most have for each other, and not only that, but the fun. Mark's energy for filmmaking, his love for the art, and Jeff and I's camaraderie are just consistent, just wanting to be a part of this stuff. We don't know why we're doing it or why we're here, or like, are we like, what's going on here sometimes, but we're addicted to it. And I've seen Jeff come a long way too, and since the early days of us, I still feel like there's more to come. A lot, the sky's the limit. Who knows? Whatever, I don't know. And they're already talking about directing another project or co-directing something, and a lot of the same familiars or oldies and newies coming in and out, and But again, it's just it's been something. I know you guys have seen, obviously, Return to Splatter Farm.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a little bit ago now, the project itself, but that was another time of being a part of Mark's legacy or something, and again that was a, I at that time I was just like, all right, this is something special of sorts, and because the original is significant to Mark. His first home run, and to be a part of this, continuing that, but among all his other adventures, it was just bring it, and everybody did, and it shows in that movie. And a lot of people, it's been, I've heard good, a lot of good things, and for most of the projects, but definitely that film too. And then also it's sometimes it's funny to hear some of the responses to Jeff and his portrayal of Jeremy, and they're fair and they're respectable, and because arts in the world can be tricky and cruel sometimes, and people just like to say goofy, or like there's been times even way back, like people just say, oh, like, I'm not saying it, I can't think of anything, but I know sometimes people like to rag on things, just to rag or pick on things.
Yeah,
because there used to be a time when everybody was into just picking on things, and
whatever,
whatever, and silly stuff. But the Splatter Farm film or franchise or whatever it's we all know it's its own drummer, or marches to its own drummer, and drum beat or whatever, and it's got its things to different things, and then amazing the story, the behind the scenes story of it all, and to try to reboot it now, and would have Jeff, who was passionate to encourage it, and all, a lot of our familiars and some new people, and people have been fair to the movie, and most of the, I haven't heard every review, but I know most of the stuff I've seen, people have been understanding of it. Yeah. And I was surprised. Because the original it's different, it's a different movie, and then we knew doing the sequel or reboot or whatever you want to call it, or different spin-off, or that it was just a different movie. It's just that you're not going to do lightning in a bottle 2 times.
That's almost impossible.
Yeah, right. And Mark has been lucky with a lot of things. He's had some movies hit it, and God bless him and all that. But and we've all been a piece of some of it lately, but more recenter times, but he's had a hell of a career. But to try to, but return on it stands on its own, and it's for what it's worth. And but the first one is what it is. It's a staple of underground filmmaking. So anyway,
I got to see the first one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either.
The second one, but one of my favorite ones of the second one is when Jeff is spinning in the field, and it's close to the end of the movie, and he's just having a grand old time out in the field. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Huh?
That's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Really? Okay. All right. So we
him have a grand old time just spinning out in the field.
Okay. All right. I'm sure Jeff would love to hear that.
I wasn't on the podcast yet when he interviewed Jeff, so I haven't gotten introduced to him yet.
Oh, right. That's right. I recall it was a different lineup. But anyway,
we got plans. I was talking to him. He'll be on again later in November. I got probably a triple show planned, so folks, store for that. Maybe we'll make it quadruple if you want.
I'll pop in. I could, because we'll probably be into another project or two by then.
Yeah, nothing. gonna wait till Noah Shark comes out, and then I was sort of discussing
Right.
with a couple people, and
Right. So you might as well throw me in there. Might as well. I'll say
Yeah.
hello too.
yeah, come on back. We'll have 4
Yeah.
people, whatever.
Oh, excellent. With this Jeff dancing in the field as Jeremy or whatnot, he that's a piece of the original film. They're basically at the end of the film. Jeremy's kind of doing a. He's
my battery's dying. So.
oh okay.
I'm gonna turn my volume down.
Is Jeff joining us now?
That's what I thought for a second.
Jeremy,
Surprise!
would
But
you?
no, it's just
Yeah.
Steve.
All right.
Yes, surprise. It's my
You
turn.
cloned yourself.
Yes, I've done it. I've done it.
Mm.
Turn my volume down. I'm sorry, it's echoing back now.
Well, it's good. We're in Star Trek now. Can we clone me too? Like Mr. Mom or something? Like have me play like 12 different parts? That would be fun. Or I could get a lot of stuff done. Imagine the amount of Mark Polonium movies there could be done now if we had 12 of us. Or 12 of everybody. Like, jeez. Oh, we're back.
Okay, there we go.
All right, so, yeah, so
Gotta love our
Jeff
technical
is...
difficulties.
Okay.
Hey. So all right, so the dance thing is a part of the original, and Jeff was trying to emulate the similar thing. And so we joke about a lot. We still in recent times, every time we're on set, like Jeff, come on, do it, do the farm. It's referred to as the farm dance or something. And there's movies. I don't know what with Mark when he did the first one, and I've asked him a little bit, but I don't like to get. We're so busy making. I don't like to ask every little, because he probably gets asked because he's a big star and all the time, like, oh, well, what was the meaning behind this and whatever. But like. There was I see a lot of movies like there's like a Jodie Foster thing where she's got her hands up in the sky or something, Nell or something.
Oh, Nell,
like,
yeah.
Like there's
That's
a bunch
what
of
it reminded me of. I'm like,
or Shawshank Redemption has that on the poster, like that's kind of I think where that was going with that. So Jeff kind of basically is emulating that same situation, but we'll joke now, like, "Come on, Jeff, do it. Do the farm dance," or I'll say, "Do the safety dance," or whatever, because like the safety dance. Come on, like you just see goofy stuff. Yeah, so it's just like there's always goofy lines. Like every movie has like the silly lines and different quirky things. Like every Mark, like just silly stuff. Like in me and Shark Encounters where I say like he done tapped out or I'm tapping out or he done tapped out, like I say that sometimes, like I'm tapped out, guys, or whatever, like, or just stuff like, or we always have like some goofy, or like in Robo War, I don't know, there's just some stuff that we would pick on or make fun of because it's just silly stuff, but yeah. So,
sorry about my ring. Yeah, you probably hear it in the background. The Ring doorbell. Our neighbors are having a party, so people must be crossing our doorbell.
Wow.
It's been going off a lot more than usual, and I was hoping it would stop. But at least the dog's not barking. I mean, she must have conned my husband and taken her outside.
Yeah. So anyway, so there's some other movies. Like I just want to mention some other movies real quick, just to kind of put some more stuff, because I know a lot of my more recent, or my claim to fame now, I guess, after a period of a life journey in the arts world, is based on my coming into the Mark Polonia establishment / Wild Eye / whatever Mark has, piece of his puzzles. So I had, like I said, I've worked with Joe Bagnardi and Bruce Hullenbeck way back in the day. They have some movies that have been out, like Shadow Tracker, Edge of Reality, a movie called Project Declassified, which is also streaming. Sometimes it's free, sometimes you got to pay $1 or $2. I'm a featured part in that as well. Jeff is as well. James Corollas, Marie De Lorenzo, trying to think of anybody else in the film that are more familiar with Mark stuff and whatnot. But definitely James, myself, play these characters called Doom and Gloom, or like FBI sci-fi agent kind of like MIB kind of stuff. And it's fun. The movie's still out there. It's really crazy because a lot of some of the locations that we filmed for that movie are also in some other mainstream films that have been shot in this area. So like I'll be watching and I'll be like, oh, that's the same, we shot on that same dock, but yet HBO just shot on a scene in the same location. So that's been going on in the last few months too, which just adds to like pinch me, surreal, weird stuff that I kind of, it makes you, think like you're kind of, there's something going on here, but so we've had that. And these are all like other parts of my puzzle. And, so Project D is out there. Bruce Hollenbeck is a main actor in that film. He also has some films that have been out and they're coming out and under some of the underground scene and stuff like that. Plus he's a major writer in the horror world. He's also, like I said, he's written for other types of like some of the EI cinema and some of these other things. So he's been around a while. He's definitely somebody to keep an eye out. This is major force with some of that. An affiliation of mine, or to some degree, and my film history or legacy or journey. And twists and turns along that ride too throughout the years. And I'm trying to think of who else. Some of the other projects on like my IMDb. I was in a film called Mr. Righteous, probably like 7 years ago or so. That's been off and on different streaming sites and festivals and things like that. I played one of the main villains in that film, a character called Mr. Point. I also was kind of like, again, an under the table producer, co-producer, what have you, whatever. I was a major force of that film. On getting it made, or the adventure of that process as well, because I've been known to be, wear different hats and all that stuff. And that was also some spin-offs of some other projects and things. There's a film by a young director, Jared Balog, who continues to do a lot of work in the film industry. He's also a makeup artist. But we made that film. Like I said, 7-ish years ago. I was a main villain in that. Mr. Point, it was like a gangster kind of thing. And, when you see the movie, it's a standout role at the time. Like I said, that movie comes and it's on different things at different times, but it is on my IMDb. And Jared also had done some makeup stuff for some of our Jeff and I's projects. We did Jeff and I's movies include way back we did a bunch of shorts. One's called Night Therapy. That's kind of been around. It's actually on I'm gonna just go ripping through some of these things on my IMDb, like just to get it out there so everybody gets a little piece or represents.
Promote as much as you want. Promote as much as you want.
All right. Well, I just want to include everybody because I feel like I knew that this interview was going to be a lot about the Mark Poloni adventure and experience. And it, again, it is a significant piece of my recenter years of this journey in film art or whatnot. And so I give him all the credit in the world for a lot of this, or keeping me still dreaming or silly or whatever I'm doing. But it's no question, Mark Poloni and Jeff Kirkendall, of course, my old school friendship with him for a while now. So Jeff and I did a movie called Night Therapy, another movie called Green-Eyed Monster, another one called 3 to Murder. These were all like under a feature, shortish kind of stuff. They've all resurfaced on different projects and different things. I believe Night Therapy and Green-Eyed Monster in a recent compilation that I also think Rebecca Reinhardt also is a piece of. Because she kind of does some different producings and things too, besides acting. But that one's called Border of Blood or something, whatnot. It's been out for a little while now. Yeah, it's a Border of Blood. Those films from way back have been a piece of that now. And then I think maybe another thing or two that we did was some of that too, or might be in a future compilation package. So a lot of that's happening. A lot of these piecing together things and rehashing old school shot on video. I mean, it's weird now that's like old school shot on video, like a thing. so there's that, which I produced and acted in a lot of those projects, significantly. Produced, like major, definitely, no question, producer. There was a time when I was just going to be a producer, and then I got back into acting again somehow. So definitely producer on those. We did a movie called The Temptress, which was a spin-off of Three to Murder, which has also been on. It's been distributed by a couple different companies over the years. It's been on many streaming sites. That movie too, I was a producer alongside Jeff Kirkendall and James Carolus. We also play significant roles in the film. I was like the hero, young hero, vampire killer thing. James as well as like my.
Sorry to interrupt. I think was that the one Clint Carney was a part of too? Because I know he worked on something called The Temptress. He said he was an angel or something.
Really?
Or maybe something else. Maybe it's not the same Temptress.
No, it might be a different one.
Okay, because it's not like it had the same name. Because remember, he said he was an angel or something in that interview. Boom.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember, but my memory's horrible.
Well, okay. If he was, then that's great.
Maybe it's a similar title, but I didn't know.
The title has been, some of these titles are kind of like they've been out and they've been changed. I mean, yeah. So who knows? But if he was, then it was, it was a fun movie, and it's again, some of these things they've stand the test of time or whatnot, and that's why I'm trying to at least give them some due or whatever.
Yeah, still. Absolutely.
Because people do, like James Kelly comes on to some of the more of the Mark movies and he's like, dude, you guys were good in Temptress. And I'm like, I was like, hey, really? like it's really, it is as much as some of, it's like having 12 kids and you don't know which one's your favorite or what, it's like, I know everybody like goes through these dilemmas, this movie drama, like whatever, but it was a big movie for Jeff and our crew at the time. Let's see what else. There was another movie shortly after that called Of Theater and Bikinis that Jeff did. It was a comedy. I was in it. Marie De Lorenzo was featured in that. It was our first involvement with her, and she's been on countless Mark films and still a significant piece of this adventure of our posse, I guess. She's had some, a go of it too. And it's been interesting to see her come around or to see her continue on the journey too. That's why I'm bringing it up, because she's still a major force. She was on some of the more recent stuff with Mark and still doing her thing. And it's just that I sometimes I don't even, it's like, I can't keep up with it all sometimes, but she kind of goes way back with us. But she's had success with Empire of the Apes franchise and also some of the Amityville Exorcism stuff and she returned to Splatter Farm and then some of this newer stuff, and it never ends. So and she's had some, some Hollywoody experiences due to this, just continuing to hang around like myself, just still being in the thick of it and being lucky, I guess. And so what else? So then we did a movie for a bit of time called Halloween Horror Tales, which you've highlighted. And so that's where we're going with some of it. So we're up to speed with, and so Halloween Horror Tales, again, that was a piecemeal film and it spanned a generation of time and different things. And it's a compilation film and it's still going strong. We're going to be showing the Hunt portion of it at an upcoming film festival in upstate New York in a few weeks. It is part of this film festival in Glens Falls, brought on by Shane Alden and his fiance Kelly Slingerland, with some other Hollywood players and different things and all kinds of stuff. But I and Jeff have been asked to be a part of it. We're bringing along some of the crew from that film, and it should be in. We'll see what happens. I've been pushing that a little bit too lately, and so so look forward to that. That's coming up in about 2 weeks from now. So it's been weird. It's just so. Anyways, seeing a lot of the movies still kind of come out and just still, and these film fests just. And we've had this all along, but it kind of goes in spurts and just really something. But the Horror Tales movie, again, Jeff Kirkendall, myself, James Carolus produce it. We all play feature parts in the film. Marie De Lorenzo as well, feature part in that movie. Mel Heflin is also a big piece of that movie. Is also on the poster, as you see with the pumpkin. She is. Been a part of Mark's films and our affiliation is through Mark's stuff with Mel. She's also in Splatter Farm as well, Splatter Farm 2. And Bride of Werewolf, which is another film that Jeff and I were in with Mel as well. But etc. She's ongoing with her stuff too. And so, and in the indie and horror scene and all that stuff. So, trying to think, yeah. So, and then Dina Demko, who also plays a good part in one of the films, The Hunt. Bruce Hollenbeck, again, it's the same stuff over and over. Bruce Hollenbeck, Joe Bagnardi, Mike Karodish, who is also the person I was talking about earlier, who has been with us for a while, and he's coming up. I mean, it's like you'll see, like he's still some of these more recent movies that are coming up. He's a I guess I can say it because it's already been leaked a little bit. Feeders 3. Michael Karodish, he goes way back with Jeff and I from our area, and he kills it in Feeders 3. He's also in another movie called R.I.P. that I think Jeff mentioned on his time. That film was shot in upstate New York in the Catskills, which is a very popular film location period, a tourist attraction, whatever. We shot that R.I.P. film. Mark directed or co-directed. Jeff and I play feature parts along with James Carolus. We also sort of under the table co-produced, of course, because that that goes with the territory. But that film, Catskills, also location, a lot of scenes of that movie we shot for R.I.P., which again Mike steals the scenes in that movie, or he just kills it in that movie too. A lot of that is also in other major Hollywood projects too. Like there was a film called Cameron Post with Chloe Moritz. It was like an HBO movie about 2 or 3 years ago. They filmed the majority of it in the Catskill region and also Saugerties. And they used the bookstore in Saugerties, and the resort is the same place that we shot R.I.P. And so just surreal stuff to be like, kind of doing the same scenes and the same, like, oh, that looks like a good spot. And then, somebody else, another person, like, thought the same thing, another casting or location scout or whatever. So it's just surreal. It's very crazy, deja vu-ish and whatnot, or to turn on and see like 3 movies, they're all in the same. And that's been going on forever. I mean, I've had those feelings like I go by Emma Willard and see, and I remember Son of a Woman, and then Downtown Troy is sort of in my neck of the woods, and that's Troy has been a history of history of the Northeast region, as well as they filmed Age of Innocence and Ironweed with Jack Nicholson, and just Schenectady, and it just the Ryan Gosling Place Behind the Pines movie with Bradley Cooper, that was Schenectady. Some days, like everywhere I turn around, it's a movie set. So like, everywhere I turn around, like in some shows are like, oh, everywhere I turn around, there's a ghost or a mannequin or something in a window. But like here, it's like Hollywood all the time. But Horror Tales is still going strong. You can see it on Prime and I think a few other things, and it changes its viewability at times, but is definitely out there. And we are showing some of it at this upcoming film festival in a couple weeks, and most of us will be there to represent. And I'm trying to think where else and what else. Still got some a lot of projects still coming out and still in the works. So
yeah, I can't wait to see what's in the future for you.
yeah.
So we'll keep a wild-eyed lookout for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, probably 3 or 4 more Wild Eyes coming out, and
Nice.
I'm sure with those doing possibly well as well, there'll be obviously a few more to come. so I'm sure it'll go on for a little bit longer. The Wild Eyed ride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye out. Maybe we'll I can't talk. Maybe we'll have enough to be able to have you on again and talk about more movies.
I'm sure.
We'll have to consider the one with everybody come on for Noah's Shark.
Yeah, Noah's Shark definitely.
So yeah, Mark had mentioned
a month from now.
Yeah, I had mentioned it to Jeff and John and Mark. They said just keep us all updated. So
okay.
I guess I'll toss you in the mix and we'll have
Please do. Just let me know, or if we can make it happen. And that's if we're not all, or if we are shooting another project, which I'm sure we could be.
Right.
We can.
Well, even individually, it's no problem.
Yeah, or piece it together, whatever. Yeah, but I mean, we're often filming, so.
I mean, that would be cool to have the.
Or just set up one big computer and you all could sit in one room together.
Yeah.
We'll just do the interview live on the set. Well,
or just you can, we'll have you come and do our behind the scenes for the next film, and
that would be great. If
just hands on.
There we go. I'll be the behind the scenes for the documentary when it's released. There we go.
Yeah. I'm sure we could possibly do that at some point. I'm sure there's no question. Yeah. I mean, we've a lot of times in recenter times, it was just kind of this little tongue in cheek about it. And I will mention it just for the sake of mentioning, because it is a piece again of the Mark world and some of my world with Mark and whatnot. The actor Kyle Rappaport, and I know I've mentioned it to you for a few times, and maybe try to get involved with him. He
I've messaged him. Probably in the future have him on. I have talked to him like this.
Yeah, he's a busy young guy, and but he's a big piece. He was a big piece of Camp Murder, as well as some future stuff, and he was a big part of the Camp Blood series. When I first see some of these guys in the movies, and then you meet them in real life, and you're like, wow, like. You can act. no, kidding. But yeah, it's just like some of them are so different. And Kyle is a force in his own. He has his own YouTube world, and he's been journeying for a long time too. And he's finding some niches with Mark, and he could be a piece to some of all this and whatnot. And he does some neat things. He goes on little, adventures like yourself, Steven, like he's going to some conventions, and he kind of stays busy. He loves the film world, and
well, shoot, maybe I'll shoot a Polonia documentary and just film all you guys,
Yeah, and Kyle,
I'll do a wild-eyed documentary of Polonia movies. There we go. Because there are some wild-eyed documentaries too. So hey,
okay,
scary stories. So
okay,
shoot one for wild-eyed. There we go.
I'm sure we would love. Well, I'm speaking for Mark. Mark will love it. I'll let him know. No, you can let him know. But I'm sure it's all possible.
I'm sure Danielle would be down. Everybody, you're all great. So
we were trying to get Danielle on with our with my movie idea anyway.
Yeah, the hippo. We need to do that. Yeah, killer hippos. That would be a fun.
She was asking about what would we like to see in a horror movie, and I was like hippos. We do not have a horror movie with hippos, and they are terrifying. They kill, like,
and I really want to have the line saying, "Oh fuck, we're being chased by hungry hippos."
That would, yeah. If anybody that writes for Mark, that would be in the script. There's no question. Because
we were talking about it with Danielle on her interview.
Yeah.
We was talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
I think she was actually getting some interest.
Yeah, Danielle.
Really funny.
Danielle's she's got some things churning in that head of her. But yeah, I watched most of Jeff, or pretty much Jeff's, and I watched a lot of Danielle's. But yeah, segments and stuff like that. And she's always full of great ideas and stuff, and she dabbles with other, as we know, different things too. So
right.
Yeah, no, she'd definitely be game for all that. So
she asked, so I gave her. I've been wanting a hippo movie for years.
Okay. Well, let's keep that in mind then, or try to figure that out.
Right. Yeah, there's
literally let's tell John that, and we'll all three of us write it. There we go.
Yeah, John Dalton. Yeah. There's no question.
Well, do you have any other things that you're able to promote, or is everything else pretty much locked up?
I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, we've got. Trying to think of some of the things without getting too much. There's just some more Amityville stuff coming out or in the works, as always. This RIP film. There's speculation that there could be a franchise of that. That was, again, like I said, this Catskills adventure that we did earlier this year, and that's we'll have to see where that unfolds, because that's a little different. It's different kind of movie, but it's unique. And then we have a couple more of these more recent stuff that I've been a part of with Mark. That are definitely going to come out, and one of them will make a splash, wink, wink, or whatever. The other one is this Rebecca Reinhardt project too, to some degree, or she was more. Yep, and that guy might make an appearance, and the film that Rebecca Reinhardt, Danielle, and Marie and Yoli headline. That'll be shortly too. That's definitely cranking away. And there's some stuff we're working on for the fall. And again, like I said, if all these projects come out in the next 6 months or so, I'm sure there's going to be, some talks of a sequel or spin-off or something to some of these things. And so we said, Mark, again, if I might have to sleep on his time, borrowed time or something, but the time he doesn't sleep. It's like when, like people do the sick pay thing, like to put it away in a bank account for some other, like Mark, because he doesn't sleep, I'll use his sleep time or something, or I don't know, because just so many things, so many projects. And
yeah, he definitely cranks them out.
And then he does other things. It's like, he's not, he like works at a media program, and then he does the movies nonstop. Then he like does some other side video stuff, and then he's like a hired editor, and then he's like has a life too. It's like, so I don't know. It's insane.
I don't know how he can have a life, to be honest with you.
I don't know. He
manages his time well.
He's like he has like a pretty good,
And I didn't mean that bad way either, but
no, I mean it's crazy, and then I don't think he juggles it without like losing his mind too, like.
Right, exactly.
This movie stuff is crazy sometimes, so it's like, or can be a little crazy, and
he puts out so much that
and he doesn't.
He just lives on the movies.
And there's some that are not just what Mark is insane legacy that he's living. We know there's a few others out there that are just as crazy. I mean, there's some with this new. With this, I've said it the other day, like this, explosion with the technology. I don't want to get into pluses and or all these stuff, but with being able, it just they're like there's some people that are just they're like nomad or like they're just hitchhiking to a project. I don't even I'm pretty crazy myself too, and lately, but I have to, I got to take a break to breathe sometimes. And
Right.
some of these people, I don't even know how they're even like, they're just like 100 movies a year. Like what? And they're like, like, I don't even know. Like, and how do you even like I try to give everybody like some time to digest, like, oh, hi, you're Kyle, right? I'm Tim, how you doing? Or, like, and with this, there's a lot of personalities and things and stuff, but like to be able to go from like one movie to the next movie, like next week you're on another set and it's a whole different crew and a whole other scene and people you never met, and then still, okay, I gotta move to that. And like, how do you keep like a normal life too? Like, who's feeding your dog or who's checking your mail, or don't you have a dentist appointment sometime? Like, but meanwhile you're like just hitchhiking to, now I'm in Texas, now I'm in North Carolina, and then I'm in Vancouver doing a film festival. Like, it's like, they're doing it. Some of these people, they're grinding it out and they love it probably love it more than I do, I guess, because they're just doing it, man. But give kudos or whatever, or props to them, and there's some cool stuff going on. I'm impressed with, all throughout the years, I've been impressed with the technology or being able to have an option to, like I think I was telling a friend of mine, how like you're starting out way back with the cameras, and then the editing stuff has come all different ways, and outlets for the projects now it's so different, or just but to what is it, kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, to just the quality of the films or the projects now compared to the indie of old days, or just even like I'm not trying to make fun or nothing, but like just anybody that just wants to take a chance or a risk or want to get a project, like, because it used to be like you guys sort of know the lingo of the old times and the hit, oh, you had to have $100,000, or you got to get into Sundance, or you got to know somebody's got, and then we, the Tommy Wiseau's and the Woods and all that have pushed and made things happen in spite of it, or whatever, or Corman or whatever. But to see like the move, just the technology and the just to have the chance to make something happen if you really want to make it happen. I don't want to hear nothing on some of this stuff, but there's still, the world is still out there, but it's just you can make something. You can make something happen now. I think more than it used to be, and because it used to be like you had to buy the film stock, was expensive, and get it transferred and all this process, and it was just to make like a 16 millimeter movie was like you definitely had to have like 50 grand, and now it's like, since this digital, the last decade or so, or if not more, this indie revolution or whatever, and even for music and arts and all the writers, they have outlets more than they used to, but it's changed the other venues a bit, and it's ebb and flow, but just it's cool to see if you really want to try to do something with this stuff, the chance or the ability or like there's, like, I used to watch indie stuff like way back, and some of it was like grainy and just crazy stuff, and I'd still watch them. That was fun, or that was cute or neat. And now you can, it's just there's so many elements with like special effects and, you know, and these TikTok things and all these apps and editors and all these special trinkets that we have access to now, you can make things interesting, you know, and you can play with the big boys a little bit if you wanted to. So
I know, like some of my intros I made for my videos took me like 2 hours plus to make, and they're only like 15 seconds, you know, under a minute. And it took me, because I'm not that great with like technology and everything. So like I have like this big old fancy editing software on my computer, but I have like this, like maybe a minute segment for my intros. It took me like 2+ hours to make, you know, because I got music, I have like, you know, cuts. Like, you remember the old BBC things, like the camera would go wild and like roll on its own?
Like Mosaic or something like
that. I did a parody to that because I would do news on Fridays. So I made an intro, a parody to the BBC thing, and it literally took me forever to make. But I think it turned out pretty good, but it could have been better. But
well, no, it's something you're playing around. Yeah.
Do all the, you know.
Yeah, and like, I mean, like Mark can do all that like with a blink in his eye, but it took, I'm sure it took him a couple good weeks to figure that out. And it goes for anybody. I mean, and whatever. I mean, I appreciate, I mean, all this stuff. Like, again, like I'm constantly trying to keep it like real. I try to give credit to anybody. Like if I see something and I, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm fair with like my thoughts towards people or other types of anybody level of what they're doing. Like, you know, like it's like anything. Like if you get, you know, some people like to dance and they're not really that good sometimes, but you go and you see, and it gets the crowd, you know, some people get the crowd going, and, you know, you had a good time. Then it's like, yeah, I like their energy, you know, like you always try to find a way to enjoy somebody expressing or trying to be positive with their feelings or whatnot, you know, if you can, I mean, and so you got, you know, I always try to always try to give, you know, credit to anybody, no matter where it is or what it is, or, you know, or they're trying something or they're not great at it, but they're just, give me a chance, you know. So, and Mark does that too with the, like I said, with some of his castings, he tries to reach out and give opportunities to, you know, people that may not have a chance or something like that, but whatever. But I'm just myself too. I try to take, you know, everybody's, you know, their lemons and appreciate their lemonades or whatever.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's that. And who knows? And things can, I mean, things change all the time, but I mean, like there's some people like, you know, like I'll go on and then go on the TV now and just like go through it. I'm like, yeah, I worked with that guy for 2 minutes, or I know this person or whatever. And it's becoming a smaller world, or there's more things to look at. And it's neat to see like people's takes on things, or trying new things, or seeing some different, you know, there's just more, there's more out there. And we know that. And it's fun. You know, and sometimes it's fun to see other people that you know and say, "Oh yeah, I know that guy," or whoever, and just have fun with it. And
most definitely. Well, we're going on almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I didn't even think we were going to do 10 minutes. Once my yapper starts going, it just doesn't stop.
I told you, this time just goes on by.
Yeah, it went by super fast. I didn't even realize it had been like 2.5 hours, but you're probably needing to do something. Or,
I gotta get ready for bed. I got work tomorrow, but it's been fun, and we'll definitely have you back again. I'm sure if you want to come on back, you're always welcome back.
Cool.
As everybody else. So.
All right, sounds like a plan. I think I did most of my resume, so I'm gonna have to crank out another few years of hard work within 2 months to talk for 2 hours again. All right, that's cool. Thank you.
Bullshit about nothing too.
I know. I thought that was good. I didn't know where. Yeah, I know I've done some movies, but I was like, yeah, but dude, like, I like to plug everybody else too, though, and I
Oh,
like
most
to,
definitely.
or include the others that have been along for the ride. And there's still so many people, and there's been some ups and downs. I don't like to get into all the ups and downs, but
Right,
and some twists and turns and some things. Life happens, but it's I just would have never, some of the ride I've never thought would go in ways that it's gone, and to see things and still kind of I don't know, still just kind of rolling the dice with this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you've been very fun, and it's been great having you on.
Yeah.
So
Great.
I'll be
Great.
looking forward to you coming on
Yeah.
again.
All right.
I guess I should put.
All right. Well, look forward to the movies, and hopefully maybe you guys can be a part of some of them, or some of the different whatever ways that can be done.
Yeah, that would be great.
A premiere
I don't know how
party,
I
or
travel
post
out
party
there, but-
premiere, or like a live stream.
my
All right. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out and an ear out, and we'll see what we can do. There's
Right.
definitely more projects to come.
Oh, yeah. We'll be looking forward.
coming out and to come and whatever. So,
All right.
all right, cool. All right, peace out, everybody.
I see you.
Thank you again. Have a nice evening.
You too.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
How do we?
Yeah, sit down.
Nobody wants to
He
leave.
doesn't
You go
wanna
first.
leave.
You go. No, you go. All right.
Well, you guys have a good night and bye.
All right.
Oh, I was just gonna say next week's show. I didn't know she was leaving, but that's okay. I was just gonna say next Saturday. I hope I say her name right. Eileen Isley from Carousel. She wrote it. She's gonna be the villain in it. So,
Wow.
it's gonna
Wow.
be a good
Yeah,
show.
you've had quite the lineup. It's been impressive to see the work you've been doing too, in spreading this horror goodness to everybody.
Yep.
So congratulations on your hard work too.
All right, appreciate
And
it.
thank you for inviting me and being patient with me too, and supporting some of my comrades.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, all you guys are great. So I appreciate the time.
no problem.
I'm gonna go for real now. So
Yep.
everybody tune in next week, and thanks again. And you have
All
a
right.
great night.
All right, peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. See you.